Guess what, y'all? It's Flag Day, first of all. Can we just get a yeah for Flag Day? Lovely to see some familiar faces, and I'm excited to get to know some of the unfamiliar ones. My name is Carmel Trey Andre Valentine. My pronouns are he and they, and I'm the executive director of MTPC. Thank you so much for coming this evening. It's been 2 years since we've been able to have this event in person. I'm grateful for you all showing up tonight in support, and also grateful for those who support but weren't able to show up. I want to take a moment to honor the stolen land we are on, Pawtucket, Massachusetts. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this territory, and we honor and respect the history and continued efforts of the Native and Indigenous community leaders who still reside here. I also want to take a moment to honor all of those that we lost to violence, to COVID, to grief and despair. May the memories of you forever be a blessing. We love you and we celebrate you. Just a few housekeeping things. We've got the top floor for the evening. Yes, we've got the patio, so please enjoy. Please note that there's also downstairs our regular guests of the brewery, so if you go downstairs, just know that you'll be interacting with folks who are not necessarily a part of this event. Bathrooms, there's a single stall there to the left, and then there are bathrooms downstairs for you to use as well. We are live streaming the event. We also have a photographer for the evening, so for folks who do not want to be photographed, should have a name tag with a blue border. For folks who are okay with being photographed, should have a borderless name tag. And just a reminder, masks are to be worn over your nose and mouth at all times unless you are eating and drinking or outside on the patio. If you're needing any assistance throughout the evening, Taylor and Casey, please raise your hands. If you are here, Taylor and Casey in the back, are they here? No, they're not here. Guess you cannot count on them.
Hashtag no shade. Taylor just raised their hand.
Yes. So we've got a wonderful program for you. We've got performances, we've got awards, a raffle, amazing things to share about MTPC. Before we move into the program, I would like to thank all of our sponsors. Shout out to our diamond level sponsor, Eastern Bank, for their continued support. They have been our diamond level sponsor for 5 PTRs. So thank you for continually showing up for MTPC in our community. Thank you to our gold level sponsors, Foley Oak LLP, TripAdvisor, Point 32 Health, and Stop and Shop. And of course, thank you to a lovely venue, Dorchester Brewing Company. And I'd like to thank all of our volunteers, and a special big up to their events consultant, Juju, who really is magic. And also, thank you to also our ASL interpreters, Sophia and Victoria. Really quickly, I'm going to tell you about this raffle, and then introduce our first performer of the evening. First of all, I'm really excited about them. So our raffle, we have a 1-year membership to the RISD Museum. We have gift cards to Summer and Olina restaurants. They're both $100 each. And you all should have gotten raffle tickets when you came in with your registration. Let's see. Raffle tickets are $5. You can pay with cash or donate online. Okay, enough of business. I'm going to introduce our next performer. Good. All right. So, Golden, uses they, them pronouns, is a Black gender non-conforming trans femme photographer, poet, and community organizer raised in Hampton, Virginia. Kikotan land. currently residing in Boston. They are an author of A Dead Name That Learned How to Live and the photographic self-portraiture series on Learning How to Live, documenting Black trans life at the intersections of surviving and living in the US. Golden is the recipient of a Pink Door Fellowship and Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum Luminaries Fellowship, the Frontier Award for New Poets, the Best of the Net Award, a City of Boston Artist in Residence, a Mass Cultural Council Fellowship in Photography, and a Woman Photograph Project grant. Their published and collaborative work can be found on Instagram at goldenfem_, or through their website, goldengolden.com. Please welcome Golden, y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. There's very few times where I'm allowed to perform in front of a majority trans audience, and I really appreciate that, and thank you, Juju, for having me. I like to get all this out of the way in the beginning because I don't do too much banter in between. I let poems speak for themselves, and I let them speak. But yes, my name is Golden. I've been writing this book about my family for the past couple years, and also another book about America, and I feel like it's so interesting that this performance is on Flag Day, and Juneteenth is right around the corner, right? And I think it's so interesting that this all happens during Pride Month. I don't think it's a mystery why Juneteenth and Pride Month are both in the same conversation in the same month, right? Like it's a rebellion, right? It's this reclamation of freedom, right? And I think that that's what my work is really about. And I'll start with this poem called "And When They Come For Me, Reprise." And when they come for me, reprise. If we were born bees, never will we wonder if we needed men tomorrow. Have you ever thought about it? How purpose isn't west or east, how God might be another word for family in the South. Our Black aunties only synonym for free. In the North, we say seahorses are trans and no one goes hunting for them in the ocean. Lord, my granny cries out every time a bee sees her front porch. I used to be afraid of needles too, but now I'm more afraid to die by loneliness and need summer. This is the first year I haven't migrated since 17, and still I have tree branches tucked in my throat. I can make a new house while everyone sleeps, I think. I'm a bad birdie. I'm a buzz light years away from language and a land name. I'm scared to say it. Holding you makes me feel infinite. Impossible to gut a gorge. I hope there is a dimension where I believe in standing still with someone's sin and glory. When I die, get my brain to the bottom of a hand-dug flower bed, where the dogwood tree splits the pink until I am root and stem again. Father, son, I want to be somewhere singing through the wooden door of my name-made house with a maiden name. Ask my mother, we're going on vacation to other worlds within ourselves. I hope you can run, oh look, the sun's coming out, Granny. Bees, the chainsaw is still in the shed, can I carry you to safety? Lover, where's direction? Where's the sin? I made it home. Thank you. This poem is also called "And When They Come For Me, Reprise," and this is for Juneteenth and It's been a testing time right now, right in the world, as we think about all the different gun violence going on, all the different attacks on trans youth across the country. And I wrote this poem last year around the president election, and yeah, I'll just let the poem speak, but this is in When the Company Replies. Yes, we meant fuck and you. No dawn can change how we remember American in this America, the caged tongues, severed sovereignties, the American assassinations. American, I doubt was ever worth this many grandchildren, this many wars, this many words, this many Americans. Heaven is how I make peace with atrocity, with America some days. I pray, because my God knows the ceremony of vengeance better than America. Knows that Americans cower the same with stars, shine back the bodies ravaged on tyranny's topsoil. How dare men say united nation, reborn when America's soiled roots didn't speak English? When sidewalks are hearses and houses, when police hunt black Americans standing still. We will never know how American we are until history asks, what was freedom for America? And we can only point to white forefathers who only wanted white children out of chains. Americans made America the bomb forever bursting in my window. Flags, a beautiful weapon. Me against America. This will be my last poem. Thank you again so much for having me. And this is for all the black people in the room, the black people in the room. Absolutely, this one's for you all. And this one is also When They Come For You, We Rise. America, even when you sing bombs bursting in the air, I know there is a good Milky Way God, reversed and parallel. A sweet Orion eye ring to our ears, an arrow towards just for black girls who never got to stay with the same name. We always look good in an ivory-skinned summer, in a river-washed gown. Death is the darkest hour for those who live thinking they don't belong here as a criminal, as a savior, as a skull sibling on an earth return, as a daughter and a dove. I'm never alone, even when I'm in the mouth of sharks, because I'm kin to serpents. We retrieve our supper to shed new shields, almighty worlds. Islands of misfit men and menaces. You can have someplace and never find my heaven. I am home. In the arms of the arm, I am home in thee. Mouths of mothers, I am home, and no one is afraid to end. You will always be my subject, black heaven. Black people, we are never without wings. Thank you.
Wow, one more time for Golden, y'all. Truly, Golden, your talent, your artistry, your intentionality, your love, I'm just so moved by. You are such a gift to us all. Thank you so much. Okay, next I want to introduce to you the woman who has made MTPC history by becoming the second full-time staff member just 7 months ago. Someone who I sometimes share a brain with, and almost a birthday. She has been crucial to the growth and recent accomplishments of MTPC, and will be coming up to share some of the accomplishments with you. Please welcome Communications and Fundraising Manager, Kelsey Grunskra.
Thank you. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that unfortunately our second performer for the evening, Hazel Afrodite, will not be able to join us, but please send love to her social media and check out some of her work, please. Hi everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here. As Carmel said, I'm Kelsey Grunskra. I use she, her pronouns. I'm so excited to be sharing this space with y'all. It truly means so much to me to be back here with MTPC. As some of you may know, this is not my first stint with MTPC, as I had the pleasure of working in a different role for a few years with our previous executive director, Mason Dunn. Here somewhere. Hi, Mason. Since then, I've had a few small opportunities to work with Carmel, so I knew when this communications and fundraising position was posted that I needed to come back and work with them some more. I'm filled with so much enthusiasm for our mission and work, and just pure trans joy by getting to work with him every day. It's truly a blessing for me to be back with MTPC and our incredible community, all of you. A lot has happened since our last PTR, so I'm quickly going to get y'all caught up on what's going on at MTPC right now. In 2019 and 2020, we conducted a community needs assessment to understand what the Massachusetts trans, non-binary, and gender expansive community needs and wants from MTPC. What we found is that our community often struggles to access stable employment in a safe and affirming environment, to access gender-affirming healthcare and insurance that will cover that healthcare, and to find appropriate support and assistance with legal name and gender marker changes and correcting their identity documents. These findings directly inform the work that we're doing now as a part of our 2020 to 2023 strategic plan. The goals of this plan are to build trans power and equity.
Yeah.
To create capacity for inclusions in organizations, businesses, and systems across Massachusetts, and to increase our organization's own capacity and sustainability. To work towards our goal of building trans power and equity, this year we have launched two exciting new programs called the Identity Document Assistance, or IDA Network, and the Trans Leadership Academy. We'll talk more about those programs a little later, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. The next goal, building capacity for inclusion, is happening a little bit more behind the scenes right now. We're working to revamp both our training and education program and our curriculums, starting with developing an organizational education philosophy. We'll be sharing more about this later this year. Now onto our third and final goal, expanding our organization in a sustainable manner. I myself an example of our progress towards this goal. Well, I guess my job existing is an example of that, not me personally. Additionally, I'm very happy to report that I am now not the only new MTPC staff member, as we have recently just hired MG Zhang as our new programs manager. That's right, a third full-time staff member. Their work will focus on the Trans Leadership Academy, the IDA Network, Massachusetts Trans Health Coalition, our education and training programs, and more as we're continuing to expand and grow. I'm also very excited to share that this summer we've been able to, as far as I am aware, have our first ever paid intern. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Miss. Yeah. As an organization, we have relied on some incredible interns for many years to do a lot of important work on behalf of MTPC. It is important to us that not only are internships impactful learning opportunities that provide true professional development, but that we are fairly compensating our interns for their work. However, to make this a reality, we need support from businesses, organizations, and supporters like you. It costs $5,000 for us to pay our intern for the entire summer, and to do that, we need a little extra help from y'all. If you would like to help make sure that we can pay our intern without going over our annual budget, you can make a donation to MTPC using the QR codes on your tables, or by giving cash or checks to any of our lovely steering committee or staff members. Can y'all raise your hands if you are a steering committee or staff member? Thank you. If you are watching on our live stream, there's a link down below the video where you can make a donation as well. Now I would like to introduce one of our steering committee members, a long-term steering committee member, Michelle Tapp, who will be presenting this year's Trans Ally Award. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Tapp. My pronouns are she, her. I am a steering committee member with MTPC and longtime member, since the legislative work that we were doing back in 2015-ish. And it's good to see, I just want to say before I start my remarks for the next award, it's good to see faces again, even with masks on. It's good to see half of your faces. And it's good to see community again. It's something that I missed a lot throughout the pandemic, and it just warms my heart to see all of our supporters out tonight. So it is my pleasure tonight to be giving out the Trans Ally Award. And tonight I am gratefully presenting the Trans Ally Award to Andrew Cohen. A little bit about Andrew. Andrew Cohen, pronounced he, him, has nearly 2 decades of experience as a consumer advocate, a community organizer, and a healthcare policy expert. He is the director and lead attorney for the Health Law Advocates General Legal Practice Team. Andrew's founded HLA's Transgender Health Project, and his policy and advocacy client representation has ensured coverage expansions under Mass Health for an array of gender-affirming services. So it is my pleasure to be giving this award to Andrew.
Thank you so very, very much. This means so much to me. But while I appreciate you recognizing the work that I've been doing for trans healthcare rights, this award is really a tribute to the amazing community of activists, advocates, providers, who are my close partners in this incredibly important civil rights movement. I want to thank the Mass Trans Political Coalition and MTPC's amazing executive director, Valentine. I want to thank all members of the Mass Trans Health Coalition. I believe that our steadfast partnership and collective energy is what truly moves the ball forward on policy change around gender-affirming care. I want to thank my organization, Health Law Advocates, especially our director, Matt Seelig, who's with us today, and our board of directors who are extremely supportive of and invested in building our trans health legal project. Most of all, I want to thank my clients who inspire me every single day with incredible courage, patience, and fortitude. Sadly, right now, the rights of trans and gender expansive people are under serious threat in many states around the country. But I believe it is this community of activists and advocates in this room and beyond who will ensure and are ensuring that we are moving forward in Massachusetts and expanding access to gender-affirming care. We will not go backwards.
Yeah.
I am very proud of the work that we're doing together. Services that were once considered, and I hate this term, cosmetic, are increasingly recognized for what they truly are, both by Mass Health and by private health insurance. And what they are medically necessary and life-preserving services.
Yes, yes.
Of course, we still have a way to go. We have a way to go to ensure that all needed care is covered by health insurance. But some recent wins that we have had include Mass Health covering facial reconstruction surgery, hair removal of the face and neck, and more recently, body contouring surgery. The latter has not yet been added to the Mass Health guidelines, but we will get there together, fighting collectively. My work in this field is deeply personal. My journey into trans rights activism actually began back in 2007. My former partner was an organizer at Keshet, a Jewish LGBTQIA+ group. I got involved with advocating for the first round of Massachusetts legislation that added gender identity protections to the civil rights laws, including access to housing, credit, and employment. Of course, the public accommodations fight came later. Although I'm a mostly cisgender, mostly straight man, I'm also really small, energetic, and I have a lot of feelings. I never quite felt that I fit into mainstream society's tropes, conceptions, and stereotypes associated with masculinity. Growing up in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, I often felt there wasn't much space for my particular way of being, and that tied directly to how I expressed my gender. My deepening commitment to this work has allowed me to lean into a more authentic version of myself, where my gender identity is more fluid. And I want to thank you. I want to thank this community for creating space where I and so many others can be our true selves. There's no doubt that we in this room are on the right side of history. Let's keep working together to make sure everyone has the space and the means to be their true selves. I'm honored to accept this award. Thank you so much.
You look good too.
Hi again, everyone. Now as promised, I'll go a little bit more detailed about our IDA network. We learned from our community needs assessment that many of the existing support services in Massachusetts for updating identity documents and legal name and gender marker changes were not truly providing the assistance that our community needs. Many of these services connect folks to attorneys who provide legal services that far exceed the support many people need. We found that people who don't feel comfortable taking on this process alone, but also don't require a lawyer's assistance, were being underserved. Additionally, because these legal services were often the only thing available, the services themselves became overwhelmed and had extended wait lists. The ID Network seeks to serve all trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive people in Massachusetts who want to change their legal name and gender marker and update their identity documents. The network provides guides and checklists for folks who feel able to take on the processes themselves, or connections to legal resources and attorneys when necessary. Most importantly, we also provide monetary support for anyone who needs it through the ID Network Financial Assistance Fund. The cost of these processes can be up to and sometimes exceed $300, which is a lot just to have your correct name and gender legally recognized. We're also continuing to provide this financial assistance to those working with the Trans ID Project, a joint effort of GLAD, Ropes and Gray, LLP, and Golden and Hazel. If you or your organization would be interested in joining the IDA Network as a legal resource or community partner, please feel free to find me or MG after the program. I'd love to connect with you. And now onto the most exciting part. To better serve those who need support but not legal assistance, we're very, very excited to be partnering with a local trans-led business called Namesake Collaborative. We're working together to build a brand new online platform to simplify these processes for folks across Massachusetts. Now to tell you more about this project, I'd like to invite up Luke Lennon, the CEO and founder of Namesake Collaborative.
I gotta pull my notes up here because my memory shit. So, can y'all hear me? Good? Alright, well, thank you all for being here, and I'm excited and grateful to see everyone here celebrating trans power and the amazing work that MTPC continues to do in our community. As Kelsey mentioned, I'm Luke Lennon. My pronouns are they, he, any other ones really work for me. And last summer I launched Namesake Collaborative to help trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive folks like myself with the legal name and gender marker change process. We've partnered with MTPC to take a fragmented, broken process and make it streamlined, affirming, and accessible for the Massachusetts community, and ideally expand into other states across the country. So not every trans person wants to change their legal name, and that's totally great. But for those that do, changing your legal name, as many of you may know, is confusing, complex, bureaucratic, not to mention expensive, as Kelsey mentioned. And more critically, not having the identification documents that match your name and gender can lead to real barriers in creating health, wealth, safety, security, whether that be denied access to credit, housing, healthcare coverage, or more, especially depending on where you live in the United States. In my experience, it can even take something like mundane, like getting carded at a club or trying to rent a car, being way harder than it has to be. And so at Namesake, our broader vision is to make sure that trans folks have agency and autonomy over their own identities from real life to the digital. We're reimagining identity management for this community, starting with the legal name and gender marker change process. So we're launching a pilot this summer, actually this month, with MTPC, which I'm super excited about, which will allow folks in Massachusetts to complete their documents for a court order name change, state ID, social security card, and US passport all through one platform. And there's still time to get involved. So if you want to join the pilot and help us improve the product, you can visit joinnamesake.com, and there's a form there to do so. We're also looking for banking and insurance partners to take this platform to a next step and help folks, once they've legally changed their name, change it on all the other bullshit. So find me after if anyone has any connections or works at those organizations, and we can chat. But again, thank you all. It's been an incredible partnership with MTPC. I'm super excited to see where this goes. And yeah, just everyone have fun tonight. Happy Pride.
Thank you, Luke. With projects like Namesake and the IDA Network, we're working to close the equity gap for our community. These legal processes, and particularly the associated fees, are major hindrances to lived equity for trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive people. We want to reduce the stress, the difficulty, the financial burden that they can cause. If you'd like to join us in the work towards lived equity, please support the IDA Network, Namesake, and our financial assistance fund by taking a moment to donate to MTPC. Again, you can do so with the QR codes on your tables, by handing our staff or steering committee members cash or checks, or if you're on the live stream, hello everyone on the live stream, you can get the link below the video. Next, I'm going to welcome back up Carmel to tell you a little bit about our Trans Leadership Academy.
What's good, folks? How you doing?
All right. Okay.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Trans Leadership Academy, and then we'll go into the next set of awards, which I am so excited for. All right, so many in our community aren't afforded the same access to resources, opportunity, and safety in the workplace. We want to develop skills, provide our community with tools to navigate workplaces that are quite frankly built to uphold and promote white cis people. We want to alleviate issues of inequity that keeps folks unemployed and underemployed and force some to resort to a survival economy to support themselves and their families. So we are working with K. Martinez Consulting, a local trans-led consulting business, to establish a 3 to 6 month workforce professional development program that will support folks through training, mentorship, material, and financial support in an affirming environment. Beyond resume writing and interviewing, we'll be offering foundational technology and internet skills, salary negotiation, workplace interpersonal skills, and strength-based assessments. Kay is designing the curriculum, and we've gathered a community advisory board of amazing individuals from our community, including representatives from our partners at the Transgender Emergency Fund and Black and Pink Massachusetts, to provide feedback and oversight for this program. We will also be collaborating with businesses to help create the next step for leadership, whether through employment or paid internship, helping to start a business, or other avenues. So if you or your business would like to collaborate with us, support the Trans Leadership Academy, please reach out to MG or Kelsey. If you aren't a monthly contributor, now would be a great time to start supporting MTPC. And if you're already contributing to us monthly, I would love to encourage you to think about increasing your monthly sustainership, because we really need your help to continue to drive this work forward. Now on to our next award of the evening, the Trans Activist Award. Here to present this award is MTPC's steering committee member and former chair, Kaden Muhammad.
Hi everybody. It is really amazing to be here. As Carmel said, my name is Kaden Muhammad. I use he and his pronouns. I've been on the steering committee since I think 2016, so it's been a while, and it has been an honor to do this work and to work with this community. And tonight I have another honor of presenting the Trans Activist Award to Justice Roe Williams. Justice, uses he, him pronouns, is a poet, a writer, an author, and now editor of his upcoming anthology, Deconstructing the Fitness Industrial Complex, How to Resist, Disrupt, and Reclaim What It Means to Be Fit in American Culture, which is being published in 2023. Williams is a trans, body positive, and social justice activist that continues to create safe spaces for queer and trans bodies now across the globe through his work with Fitness for All Bodies. I have known and admired Justice personally for about 10 years now, and have a lot of respect and deep appreciation for the work that he does around body positivity and fitness, particularly for trans people. It's my honor to present him tonight with MTPC's 2022 Trans Activist Award.
First off, I want to just give my deep gratitude. Community is a funny thing, you know, and I'm very grateful and honored to be a part of this community. I'm gonna share a quote. When we can see ourselves as we truly are and accept ourselves, we build the necessary foundation for self-love. Whether we learn how to love ourselves and others will depend on the presence of a loving environment. Self-love cannot flourish in isolation. Bell hooks. When I first came to Boston, it was like falling through the rabbit hole. I moved from an environment of complexity and not understanding my own identity, constantly being erased from my ears, my heart, my spirit. And it was a time of, you know, when I was growing up, the personal is political, right? And so that personal was not allowed for me in all of the ways. I wasn't allowed to be black in certain spaces. I wasn't allowed to be trans in certain spaces. I wasn't allowed to be seen in a lot of spaces. When I grew up with this foundation of love. No judgment. Love just existed. It just was. It wasn't in isolation. It was in connection with community. It was a connection of authenticity and embrace. That love that Bell Hooks says, we can't live in love in isolation. So when I fell down the rabbit hole, y'all, and I came here to good old Boston, it was segregated. People were separated. People weren't talking to each other. I felt like I was jumping in and out of boxes, never being all of who I am, fighting this fight, making these moves, but never freeing myself, never seeing freedom in these movements. So what I decided to do is I decided to love. I decided to love myself beyond what the world tells us. I decided to use that love to build connection. First, to connect my own identity, because the personal is political. I can't be an activist, separated, jumping in and out of boxes, questioning my own power. How can I model that for young people? I work with youth. How could I model that for trans youth who are constantly at war with a government that wants to erase us as a whole? So they go towards those they think are weak. But our young people are powerful. They are strong. Youth are the fire of our movement and mobilization. Don't forget that. They are the inspiration that hold us up as adults in this work, right? Inspire us to continue. I do this work because I want us to be an authentic community of connection. I want us to feel that authentic love. Thank you so much.
I'm having an inspiring evening. I really am. I'm having the time of my life right now. Justice, oh my goodness, I love you so much. You know, what I truly admire and love about you is that sort of, that self-reflection, and you don't run away from having those hard conversations, and you really do lead with love. You really do. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to present our final award of the evening. Here to present that award, mother to many of us all, legend, icon, and MTPC's treasurer, Grace Sterling Stoll.
Good evening, everyone. As Carmel said, my name is Grace Sterling Stoll. I use she and they pronouns. I'm Bagley's executive director and also a longtime member of the steering committee of the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition before we had a steering committee. So when we just after we were founded 20 years ago. It is my great honor to be able to present this next award to someone that I literally knew as a young person at Bagley in our community, and to see her grow and blossom and give back to the community in so many ways has been really a pleasure to see. Candace Nguyen, who uses she, her pronouns, identifies as a Vietnamese trans woman. She currently works both in healthcare and as an entertainer that does drag on the weekends. Her role at the Massachusetts General Hospital helps other trans and gender non-conforming folks navigate through the healthcare system as they seek out gender-affirming care. You can catch Candace performing all over Boston at Carrie Nation, Ghost Pepper, Jocks, and many more. It is on behalf of MTPC, it's my great honor to present the Trans Excellence Award to Candace Nguyen.
Can y'all hear me? In the back too, because I was standing back there, it was a little hard to hear. Oh my gosh, thank you MTPC for this award, and thank you Grace. Grace has seen me since I was 16, from a wallflower to finding the fierce gazing within. And yeah, I'm just like really grateful. So some of y'all may recognize me as Candace Persuasion. Probably see me around doing a Beyonce medley. But what is something that y'all may not know is that my family comes from the war-torn country of Vietnam, and my dad fought in the Vietnam War, fighting alongside with the U.S. And after losing the war, they were put into a re-education camp for about 7 to 8 years. And as a reward for serving time, essentially, there was an operation that allowed the Vietnamese soldiers to come to the United States. And my dad picked Boston because of the education here. And America was not the land of milk and honey that was advertised to be. However, it was still a better life for my family. And for me, it wasn't easy growing up as a young Asian. I had divorced parents. I was forced to become Mormon. I was physically abused at home, and I was being bullied at school. So I felt alone for a long time. And these are some of the reasons why at the age of 11, I kind of just like shut myself out from the world and kind of just take in and endure the pain. And it wasn't until I found other queer Asians at the age of 16 at Bagley at Map for Health that I felt seen, and I was reminded that I am loved and I'm not alone. The work that I've done at Map for Health, a nonprofit that catered to the work of improving Asian communities' sexual health, it helped inspire me to want to do more to contribute to my community. So I went from Map for Health to Bagley to Boston Glass to AIDS Action to Fenway Health, and now I'm at Mass General Hospital as the transgender surgical coordinator. Shout out to Corey and Romy, they're here. I discovered the art of drag through all of this, and as you may have seen me doing Crazy in Love Somewhere, drag was very important to me because it helped me confront the possibility of a trans identity. And I remember many nights of coming home and not wanting to take off my makeup, my hair, my costumes, just so that I could be Candace a little bit longer. And, you know, it's one of those things where I wish I started transitioning a little bit earlier. It's been about 3 years now, and it's the happiest I've been. Thank you. I hope this golden hour is really giving me Thank you, I'm sorry, I'm just very nervous. But through all that, working in prevention was good and it lasted for a very long time, but I felt like a lot of the work was focused on gay men, which is great, but I needed a change and the opportunity to help other trans folks achieve or access gender-affirming care spoke to my interests a little bit more. And as a trans person, one negative experience can taint the whole experience for us. So as I try to become this light to help my community, I try to stay humble, show empathy, but also prioritize one's safety and mental health that is often occupied with fear of belonging and being targeted. Receiving this award for excellence means a lot for me because my family came here for education. And although I went to get a bachelor's, I never pursued anything higher, so I never felt like I was good enough compared to the folks who had masters and stuff like that. But I do want to shout out to Chastity, Executive Director of Trans Emergency Fund. She taught me that we don't have to wait for the next trans leader. We can be that leader. And this award is a product of that statement. And there are many people who love you, and there will be many people who dare not to love you. But you just remind yourself that you're simply mighty for being yourself. Thank you again.
I love this. You know what? One of the things that moves me about Candace is seeing this shy youth really, honestly, just carve out her own space and really just accomplish these achievements like on her own merit. It's just a wonderful thing to see. I was recently at an event where I heard someone say, awards without action or investment are meaningless. And so MTPC is committed to investing in our trans, non-binary, and gender expansive community members. So Justice and Candace, you will both be receiving $500 from MTPC tonight. It's not much. Honestly, I wish it were 5,000. We're not there yet. Let's see how this night goes. But yeah, so I'm so excited to present that to you both. Coming back to the stage is Kelsey. We're gonna do some raffles.
All right, y'all, if you have not put your raffle tickets in, it is now officially too late. All right, it's not too late. I take that back. If you have raffle tickets, come put them in right now.
Yeah, I feel a lot of it.
We might need some help with someone maybe going around and doing the buckets. That would be great. Stand committee members or MG, yes, thank you.
I'll follow behind.
So make sure you keep your portion, the portion that says redeem your prize. Make sure to keep that portion. Okay. Can you get those buckets back? Yes, thank you. I love that mad rush at the end.
Where's that Oleana bucket at? So now the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for the raffle. so first up we have an annual membership to the RISD Museum in Providence, Rhode Island. And the winning ticket is 0242399. All right, come on up and get your prize. Okay, so the RISD Museum has also donated a few guest passes, so we have a couple runner-up prizes as well. The first runner-up ticket is 0242523. 523. Going once. Going twice. All right, 0242523. Does anybody have that ticket? Okay. All right. And our second attempt, 0242377. People on the patio. Oh, hey! All right, and finally, for the last set of RISD Museum guest passes, we have 0242393. Okay, so now we are moving on. We have two $100 gift certificates to Sarma Restaurant in Summerville. And the first winning ticket is 0242500.
Woo!
0242500. No one claiming? The last four digits are 2500. That's right. Thank you. Okay. So the second $100 Sarma gift card will go to 0242491. 2491. Okay, and now finally we have two $100 Oleana gift certificates in Cambridge. Sure I have the right bucket here. And the winning ticket is 0242481. 2481. Okay, and for our final raffle winner, we have 0242376.
Not 376.
2376. Okay. All right. We'll try this again. People in the patio have been very lucky this evening. See if the luck changes. Okay, we have 0242359. All right, congrats to all of our winners. Thank you so much to all of our generous donors. I'm going to hand it back to Carmen.
Back again, y'all. Okay, so we are nearing the end of our program. I bet you'll, oh, I like that. Me personally, I'm excited to get to some music and get a little bit of dancing. I'll a little bit. Okay, so all evening you've heard about all the amazing things that MTPC is doing. To be honest, I am really quite proud of all the accomplishments. And there's so much that I feel like, honestly, we're only just getting started. Even though we've been around for 21 years, 21, y'all? Yeah, 21. Also, how stereotypical of us to be celebrating it in a bar. But really, I'm excited for MTPC's future. We cannot do it without your support, and we cannot do it alone. To do this work equitably, we need staff. An operations coordinator to assist with our day-to-day operations, and a policy manager to oversee our policy and legislative advocacy. Over 300 anti-LGBTQ bills have been filed so far in the US, 140 of them targeting trans youth. Now, although we have legal protections in Massachusetts, those only go so far. We are seeing a lot of anti-trans pushback happening right here across the state at the municipal level. MTPC is one of, if not the oldest trans advocacy organization in the nation, and we are not safe. We need this person, this policy person, now more than ever, so that MTPC continues to be a strong advocate for our community. We will continue to build trans power and grow our programs like the Trans Leadership Academy, the IDA Network, our Trans Health Coalition, doing community building work and partnerships so that we can respond to the needs of our community. We'll also be going through a rebranding process so that our name, our brand aligns with our mission and the work that we're doing. So as I mentioned earlier, we cannot do this work alone, right? So please consider making a donation if you haven't already, becoming a monthly sustainer, spread the word about MTPC's work, encourage your friends, family, colleagues to support. We need supporters like you to amplify, resource, and sustain MTPC's work. Thank you for a wonderful evening. Not gonna lie, I had a whale of a time. And I hope you did too. Thank you to our photographer, Fresh Fruit Generation, for providing our catering. Our host, the Dorchester Brewing Company. Golden, our performer, our volunteers, our awardees, our ASL interpreters. You all made this a truly special evening. We have this spot up here until 9 p.m., so you don't have to go home, but come 9 p.m., you can't stay upstairs. Okay? Have a good night, and let's cut a rug, y'all.